ಇದು ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಮಧುರ ಅಂತಾನೆ ಇದೆ, ಹೆಸರು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ, ಐ ರೀಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಇಟ್. Okay. Good morning, dear students. There is quite a little delay because of a technical and power glitch. There was no power for almost half an hour, but I was waiting eagerly to address you all in the third day class. So may I ask you, some of you, that is my voice is audible to you all? Will you just drop me a message in the public chat, in the comment? Is my voice is clear? Will anyone send a message that I just continue teaching here? Yes, almost half an hour late. And yeah, Chaitanya has sent a message that yes, the session is can go ahead. So far, the last 2 days, in the first day, we have learned the very significant text, very masterpiece in English literature in the first paper, English literature from Chaucer to Milton, that is Geoffrey Chaucer, the Canterbury Tales. In the second session yesterday, we have discussed, we have learned Christopher Marlowe's The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus. And today, in the third day, I'm going to teach you this text. This text, The Rape of the Lock by Alexander Pope. Okay, Alexander Pope is he's known for his mock epic. He's known for his mock epic, that's The Rape of the Lock. And he also written quite a few number of satire and other mock epic. That I tell you further when I describe the text. So today, this text, I must tell you, this text that is a rape of the lock, which is prescribed for your study. What happens here? The entire text based on some historical background. The story, it is based on some historical background. What is the historical background? Let us talk about it. And somebody inspired, somebody told Alexander Pope to write this poem. Who is that? Why this poem has been written? What is the purpose behind it? So let me give you an insight, the purpose of writing this text. For example, much before I just get into the text, let me tell you this poem called as a mock epic. For example, we have a different forms like epic, Mahakavya, mock epic, Anakisi Bardantaha Mahakavya. There is a lot of trivial issues, there is a criticizing somebody else. So mock epic, it is something to do with trivial issues and criticizing somebody, targeting someone. So what is the criticizing? What is the criticism here? And who is, trivializing what? So this is the issue. So mock epic, it does not follow the epic conventions. ಮಹಾಕಾವ್ಯಗಳು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಂತಹ ಕೆಲವು ಎಪಿಕ್ ಕನ್ವೆನ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ದಿಸ್ ಎಪಿಕ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಫಾಲೋ. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಮ್ಯೂಸ್ ಟು ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ಗಾಡೆಸ್. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫಾಲೋಡ್. But the subject matter is a very trivial. But there is a battle between the people. So the battle, it appears like the epic appears here. So the mock epic, it is against the conventions of epic. So coming back to the characters are here. The characters, much before let me introduce you the character. There are important characters in this mock epic. The first, the protagonist, the important character, that is Belinda. She's a lady. Another character, that is Lord Baron. Belinda and the Baron, and he's the one who did a crime. What is a crime the Baron did? The Baron, he cuts the lock of a woman. Who is that woman? That is Belinda. Belinda, she has a lock here, the very beautiful lock. If you look at the primitive films, age-old films, you can see that the heroines, they have the lock, the curly hair. So here, Lord Baron, he cuts the lock of Belinda. Why did he cut the lock of Belinda? Because he proposed her a number of times. And Belinda, she did not accept. out of the fury, he cuts the lock. This is the subject matter. After once he cut the lock, the way the Belinda reacted to it, how Belinda created a terror, the kind of the enragement led to a quarrel between these two families, the Belinda's family and the Lord Baron families, in the poem. So we can come across all this quarrel between these two characters in the poem. The rape of the lock. What has been raped? Rape in the sense somebody who loses the chastity, the virginity. So here, the rape of the lock in the sense the hair. So the moment the lock has been cut off, the Belinda, she thinks that she's been raped. It's a rape of the lock. The lock has been raped. She lost her chastity, virginity, and all that. So this incident happened in the life of some characters. I told you this play, this mock epic poem. It is based on some important incident which has happened previously in the real life. Which are the real life characters? Of course, in the text we come across Belinda and the Baron and some supernatural elements, the Clarissa, and many other characters. I tell you when I analyze the characters. But now, so what is a real life incident? Hope you're able to follow me. You're getting the point. There was almost half an hour late, and because of some power issues. And now coming back to here, as much as possible, I'll just try to give you the entire text in a nutshell form, and probably in my further class, I continue the remaining portions. So in the real life, something had happened. What has happened? So this is I told you this story. But in the real life, the Belinda, she's called as Arabella Fermor, and the the Baron is called as Lord Peter. So something happened between the Arabella Fermor and the Lord Peter. In order to console them, Alexander Pope wrote this poem, telling that this is a very small issue, trivial issue. Don't bother that the cut of the lock to the Belinda. He consoles Belinda here. And let us see what has happened in the life of these people. The rape of the lock, it describes a trivial incident in the life of Robert, a seventh Lord Peter. So he's a Lord Peter and the Robert, they're one and the same. And he's well known for his amorous and trivial nature, was of a frivolous nature. He's a man of a silly. And he was not so serious about his life. Who? Lord Peter. I'm talking about the real incident. What has happened in the life of Baron, life of actual life. What has happened? And after that, he loved a lady called Arabella Fermor. I'm talking about in the real life. You can go to the web. Study material. You can understand how the descriptions is given there. The very well-known descriptions is given there, and give you different highlights. The some stuff, some highlights, so that it helps you to it paved the way for further enhancement of your knowledge. So Arabella Fermor, who was very famous for her grace and elegance and fashionable society in London, she was known for her fashionable lifestyle. She was a very modern and the graceful and very elegance. And she nowhere put a heed to Lord Peter. She did not accept his proposal. And what has happened here? And he decided to cut the lock of Belinda in order to take a revenge. And he did it. And there is a lot of, and she thinks that it has been offended to her, and there is a lot of quarrel between them. Ultimately, this incident gave a rise to a serious quarrel between the two families. So both the Lord Peter and the Arabella Fermor family, they quarreled a lot, and this paved the way for, because it caused a deep stir in the Roman Catholic society. The Roman Catholic society was so religious; they were so fundamental in terms of religion. They don't accept this kind of offensive or like being humiliated and all that. So what happened? There is a stir between the quarrel between the loggerhead between these two families, because they belong to a Roman Catholic. So what happened? So and the John Caryll, he's a relative, the close relative, the common friend of these two families. You have to remember, I'm talking about the historical background of the text. I'm not discussing text now. I'm giving you the background, then I'll get back to the text. Okay, as much as possible. I just try to give you the background, and probably we can even extend the class further tomorrow. And the John Caryll, a common friend of both the families, And he was he was the closest friend of Alexander Pope, the writer. So John Carroll did that. Alexander Pope, you have to do me a favor. What is the favor? Why don't you write a poem, using these characters and give them a message? The message should give them a sense of complacency. They should be happy with the message. Yes, whatever we have quarreled so far, that is not at all a important thing. Please do write a poem, and probably after reading the poem, these two people, I mean, especially Arabella Firma, will be consoled. She may get the sense of complacency. Then Alexander Pope, yes, I'll do one thing. I write a poem. Don't worry. I write a poem. Probably then they will be very happy about it. So this poem, has been a result of that. And much before that, keep this background of the text. And now I must tell you about the Alexander Pope. What kind of poet, he was. And see, this is one thing. Alexander Pope, his poetry was very much remarkable and didactic. Didactic in the sense they give some kind of instruction. They give some message. Alexander Pope, his mock, epic poems, they give the kind of the message. Yeah, thank you. That your voice is audible. Fine. So what happened? So his poetry are very much didactic. That means they're giving you some instruction to the people with a moral, some ethical issues, and also very satiric too. ಹಣಕಿಸಿ ಬರುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು. He uses that satiric style in order to instruct the audience, instruct the reader, and to give a moral message. All these are trivial incidents. This is what he says. And gradually, if you understand, if you get back to the text, what has happened here? So Alexander Pope, he began, writing this text like this. There are other incidents which are there in the study material. I'm not getting into that. And here, see, this is how the poem begins. The poem has 5 cantos. Okay, there's a 5 different the parts in the poem. And here, I must tell you the first incident, how the poem begins. This is how the poem begins. I advise you, you all have to read the text at an extent to get the nuances, the substances of a literary aesthetics. ಹಾಯ್ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಗಂಧವನ್ನ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಸಾರವನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ದ ಟೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. So then that certainly helps you for your further discussion in your, if are probably teaching, otherwise, seeking your teaching and all that. So I always advise you to read the original text much before you reading your study material. So what happened? This is what dire offense from amorous causes, the springs, what mighty contest rise from trivial issues. So Alexander Pope, he began his poem by saying something had happened out of trivial issues. Some trivial issues had taken place. So this is how the poem begins. And further, what happens in the first canto? At the noon, when the sun was come to awaken, it is almost the noon, the afternoon. The Belinda, she's still sleeping. So in the poem, The Rape of the Lock, the Arabella Firma name is given as Belinda. Lord Peter name is given as Baron. So these two are very important characters, and I describe the other minor characters, a further explanation. So Belinda was still sleeping. This is what happens. So some dire offense, something had happened, and it was almost like a afternoon. Belinda, the character, she's still sleeping. It shows that Alexander Pope directly, he's deliberately, emphasizing that how the traits, the characteristics, the nature, the kind of conduct of this character. There's a Belinda. You can understand the kind of conceit and arrogance in her. What is that? She's still sleeping, and she dreamt of that Ariel appeared to whisper praises of her beauty in her ear. She was dreaming and sleeping. What is that dream? Belinda, she's still sleeping. Not only sleeping, she's still dreaming on something. And Belinda, I mean, Ariel, Ariel, it is a supernatural elements, a spirit. It comes and tells to Belinda, that it praises the beauty of the Belinda. And she has that narcissistic, tendency. Narcissism ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ one who glorifies your own beauty. For example, if somebody comes and tells you, yes, you're so beautiful, and you're carried away by the feelings, yes, I look so beautiful, so that is a narcissism. So here Belinda, she has that quality. She was very narcissistic, and the moment Ariel praises her, and she was so happy. And what happened? And he, the Ariel, gives a caution to Belinda. Probably you're still sleeping. When you go to a place called Hampton Court, Hampton Court, it's a place where all aristocracy people gather. Probably by the noontime, they all go there. They will have a tea party. They discuss their their life about. They discuss the mundane issues. And he tells to Belinda, Belinda, today you're going to Hampton Court, and remember, something may happen to you, and you're still sleeping. I guess something will certainly happen to you. And you should be very, very careful. What does it say here? And he said that he had been sent to protect her because some dreadful thing is going to happen. Somebody sent me to you to protect you, to give you some caution, because when you go to Hampton Court today, something may happen. So I'm giving you a caution. Don't beware. Should be very careful. And he did not know that was befall to her. He was warned her, beware of jealousy, pride, and beware of men. Something will certainly happen. You should be very, very careful. And this is the line which is there in the text. What does he say here? Something will certainly happen to Belinda. So beware of all, and most beware of women. So this is the line. If you look at the text, you can come across in Canto 1, the last paragraph. And what does it say? I saw, alas, some dread event impend. Something will happen. And beware of all, and most beware of man. Today, you should be careful about a man. Probably something's going to happen to you. So Ariel warned Belinda to be very, very careful. And what happened? And Belinda, she's got up and she decided to go to Hampton Court. But before she go to Hampton Court, what has happened? What's going to happen? Belinda, she's aided by a maid called Betty. Betty, she's a servant of Belinda, and Betty, she's assisting Belinda to decorate, to get ready to herself, and to assisting to her, lady, that's a Belinda. And headed by Betty, she's a servant, and she helps Belinda to to dress up and all that, and began to make her a dressing table. And Betty, she's preparing a dressing table where Belinda, immediately she comes over there and she sits herself, and she looked herself into mirror, and she praises her own beauty. And immediately she began to get ready to go to that Hampton Court. That's a place. And Belinda, she's also has a habit to read the love letters sent by the lovers. There are many people who glorifies the Belinda's beauty, and they have sent a number of letters. And I missed the point. And the moment Belinda gets up from the bed, she immediately opens them and she reads them. And she reads, and she was so happy, and that people have glorified her beauty. So this is the tendency of this lady, the Belinda. So look at the title, The Rape of the Lock, has a lot of meaning in it. In terms of only not the physical issues are interwoven, but it is a lot of ethical issues the involved with. And further, after that, after the Ariel warned Belinda to be careful, to be aware of, and immediately the Belinda, she forgets all the warnings. But she decided to go to Hampton Court. How she has to go to Hampton Court? She has to take she has to start a journey from a boat to the Hampton Court, crossing the river Thames. Okay. And what happens here? And the journey across the sky witnessed the brilliant rival, the Belinda, boating on the Thames. She was started her journey through boat and on the river Thames with her friends and suitors. There are a lot of friends are accompanied. So in the first phase, the Belinda, she's aware of, and she's going to that place. All eyes were upon her. Everybody looking at Belinda because she was so beautiful, and she was killing everyone with her, the beauty. And like the true coquette, Coquetee, which means coquette in the sense like a flirt. She was killing everyone with her beauty, and she smiled at every, the suitors, lovers which were there, but favored no one more than another. But she put a least attention to anyone. She wasn't looked at anyone here. So now we have to come back that Alexander Pope, he's depicting this character such a way, the way a woman he's glorified by the beauty, and probably when he glorifies, probably in the gradual narrations of the poem, we understand that how she suffered a humiliation. She was very happy now, and gradually, with a lot of course, a lot of twists and turns, she suffers, she humiliates, the way she cries. Yes, I'm teaching you today the hard code 3, that's the Rape of the Lock by Alexander Pope. Hope you are able to follow the text and you're getting it. And and then what happened? The Lord Peter, the one of the Belinda's suitors. There is one person called Lord Peter, the Belinda's suitors, and today's character. Remember, he's the one who cuts the lock of Belinda. I told you, lock. It is a hair. I told you the beautiful curl hair. What they say as a mungurulu in Kannada, and you understand. He's the one because she has that lock here, and Belinda. I mean, Baron is the one who cuts the lock of Belinda, and. And what happened further? The Lord Peter, one of the Belinda's suitors, admired a lock of her hair. What a beautiful lock that she has left here. And I proposed this lady n number of times. I expressed my desire to this lady n number of times, but she puts no heed at all. She's least bothered. She's not at all concentrating over here. So what do I do? My eyes toward the lock. I should get the lock by foul or fair means. I should get that lock. He decided in his mind. And he would have it by fair means or a foul. But any cost, by hook or crook, I get the lock. I want that because of the lock, she thinks that she's so beautiful. If I cut the lock, what does she do? And this is what happened. So set was he on getting the lock that before the sun rose and morning he built an altar to the god of love. So there is he built a small altar, and where he addresses all his trophy letters, everything to the god of love, and to get the power, to get the blessing or a power, so that he'll be decided to cut the lock of Belinda. The trophies received from farmer sweethearts, meanwhile asking love to give him soon the prize he wanted to let him keep it for a long time. Please, you get me the power, the God of love, so that I can cut the lock and keep it as a memory, to keep it as a my prize. And he's surrendering all his trophies, the letters received from so many people, and he's surrendering everything, and because he's only intended to get the lock. And what happened further? Everyone except Ariel seemed very happy during the course of the journey. So Lord Peter, the Baron, he decided to cut the lock, and he intends that. But Belinda, she's not even noticed that. She has not noticed that, and she's happy with the companions. She's going on the boat and to the River Thames, to the Hampton Court. It's a place where all aristocracy people gather. And whereas here in the boat, and the Baron is also accompanied them. He's also there. So the Belinda, she's amidst of her rivalries. But she's not even aware of. And remember, Ariel told one day in the Canto 1, saying that beware of all and most beware of men. Something dreadful is going to happen to you. And he warned her. But whereas Belinda, when she's attracting people, and she forgets the conscience and conscious state of mind, that yes, Ariel warned me. And what happened? Everyone except Ariel seemed happy during the course on the Thames. Everybody is so happy except Ariel, because Ariel can prophesize. Ariel can predict. Yes, something will happen. Adu gottagutte Ariel ge. It's a spirit. Yes, something will happen to Belinda, because Belinda, she's not even aware of. This spirit summoned his aides. He calls everyone. Please come, please come. Who are they? There are a lot of other spirits. For example, their name is given like this. Their name you can identify in the textbook. The names are this. The first, spirit that we have here, that Sylph. Sylph, it is to guard the Belinda's it is to guard the Belinda, to protect our Belinda. And another, that is he appoints some sylphs, and 50 sylphs, to watch over the Belinda's dress. And other some Ariel, another spirits to protect completely Belinda, but not to be harmed anything to her. So here, what happens? And I mean, Ariel tells to all the spirits saying that, see, you all have been appointed to take a protection on Belinda. If something happens to her, if somebody neglected your duty, and you will be punished bitterly and severely. So you should be very careful and be careful that something will certainly happen to you. So this is what that Ariel warned all the rest of the spirits. And what happens here? So after the journey on the river Thames, what happened? The Thames, the Belinda, accompanied by Lord Peter and other rest of the party. Lord Peter, in this sense, Lord Baron, and Belinda, she joins them, and they're going along with that, and visited one of the palaces near London. That's a Hampton Court. So all of them, the journey started, and they reached the bank of the river, and they reached the Hampton Court. It's a place, it's a big palace, and all of them, they're going over there, and they're sitting. All the rich people, aristocracy people, they will be flocked together. They're sitting there, and what happens? And they decided to play something. What are they supposed to play then? They want to play a Spanish card game called Omber. Remember, it's a very important. So what happened? After the journey, everyone, they reached the London and the palace, the Hampton Court. There, Belinda decided to play Ombre, Ombre. Ombre, it is a Spanish card game. It's a Spanish card game with two of her suitors, including the Lord Peter, Lord Baron. She played invisible silk, sat at her important cards to protect Belinda. And it's a card game. So Belinda, she holds a card, the Ombre, the Spanish card game, and some sylphs, the spirits, they also sit on the cards because to direct Belinda, because Belinda, she should not defeat her. See how she's getting a protection. Such a protection is given to her. Nothing should happen to her, and she should not defeat in the card game. And every protection is given to the Belinda here. And what happened? Self guarded Belinda's dress to keep it from being spotted. And at that time, what happened? The coffee was served to all of them. The overall were there. All of them were supplied with the coffee, and everybody started to have the coffee. And further, the self-guarded Belinda's dress to keep it from being spotted, and the fumes from the coffee sharpened Lord Peter's wits. The moment he takes a sip of a coffee, and he thinks that yes, I should intend to get the lock, because this is the time where Belinda, she completely forget her conscience, consciousness, and probably this is the time to get that the lock. And the fumes of the coffee sharpened the Lord Peter, which the point where he thought of new stratagems. He started some strategies, some plans. What do I do? Is it the right time for me to get the lock? And so this is where I stop here. It's almost half an hour. And what happens? Other teacher, Dr. Shrikant, our colleague, your teacher, is awaiting, and because the 11:30 to 12:30 is class, it's almost half an hour. I continue my class tomorrow at 10:30. And I because there's a lot quite a delay because of the part, and other teachers should not get disturbed. So he'll continue with his class, and I stop it here now. And how the Lord Baron and he takes his revenge by cutting the law. From that scene onwards, we will continue tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to leave the session now because other teacher is awaiting. So kindly bear with us. Hope so far whatever I have taught you, they gave you the introduction. Yes, it will be uploaded in the website. You can find it out. And whatever that I have described so far within this half an hour, hope you understood, you comprehended. That certainly helps you to understand the text further. It helps you to understand the text further, and rest of the part I will continue. When I have stopped where Lord Baron has not taken a decision to cut the law. He just intend to get it. So thank you very much, Chaitanya, and some of you. And I leave the session now, and other teacher will join, and I continue with tomorrow at 10:30 class. Okay. Yes. Thank you.